Hello there again, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is part 4 of our Enterprise refit build-up by Polar Lights. We're going to be having a really busy day out in the shop today. We've got a lot to do. Let me show you what I'm going to be working on today. I'll zoom in on the Paragraphics photo etch kit there for you. And you can see we've got our nice little rec deck there that's laid out. We're going to get that removed from the sheet and start doing some painting work on that. And over here we've got our little officer's lounge part that we're going to start painting up and adding some detail on that. And then later on, we're going to work on this. I've got this lower part of the secondary hull here all painted and light blocked on the inside. And what I'm going to be doing is applying some of the decals, the Aztec decals that I've been working on, so you guys can get a chance to see what those look like installed on the model after they've been painted. A lot of you have been asking about that. So we're ready to rock and roll here. It's going to be a busy day. Let me get set up here and come back, and we'll take a look at how we remove that part from the photo etch sheet, and we'll start working on that. See you in just a second. Stay tuned. So over here you can see we have everything set up on our bench now and getting ready to go. You may notice that I've got this photo etch part set laying on a piece of ceramic tile here. This is a really nice, hard, stable surface, and we'll be able to use our hobby knife to go in here and cut these little tabs that connect the part to the sheet. I'll go through that in just a second. One of the things I wanted to mention that I like to do before I start using these photo etch parts is I'll use some steel wool and just lightly go over this stuff, just like I'm doing here, and just scuffing it up a little bit. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow my parts to have better adhesion when I go to paint anything. Brass tends to resist paint. There's also some products out there that you can use to, it's actually called an etching type of a primer, or a steel prep primer, that's used to apply on this stuff that allows you to spray paint on top of it, or hand paint it, however you choose, but it gives it a better bond. You could use this, or you could use some emery cloth, and both will work the same. You don't want to use very harsh sandpaper on that, or you may sand away some of your detail. But this is just very light, and all it did was just lightly scuff it up, if you can see that in the shot there, and it made it so it will have, the paint will have something to bond to. Now, another thing I want to talk about is we have to bend some of these parts, and brass tends to have a memory, so when you try to shape or bend some of these things, they tend to want to go back to their original size or shape. And so what we're going to do is something called annealing. Now this might look kind of scary, but this is a little propane torch, and basically what I'm going to do is fire this thing up, and I'm just going to go over this sheet here, the entire thing, not getting too close because I want to make sure I don't melt or distort any of these little small detail parts. But we're just going to roughly heat this whole thing up here. It's another reason why this ceramic tile is good, because it won't transfer any heat to the mat or anything like that, and we won't start anything on fire here. So I'm going to fire this up, and I'm going to just go over it real quick. And you'll see that what we're doing is we're heating this up just to give it, take away that memory that this stuff tends to have. This is a process called annealing. You can read about it on some of the forums and things like that. You can see it's sort of discoloring it here and there, but we're not worried about that. We're going to be painting most of this stuff. And that's basically it. I heated this whole thing up, and now we're going to be able to bend this stuff, and it's going to stay in the shape that we want it to. So I'm going to let this cool off for a minute or two here. Then I'm going to come back, and we're going to start cutting this part out here for the rec deck. And we're going to see how we start bending that and start getting that ready to be painted. So be right back with that. See you then. Okay everybody, we're back now and we're set up. I've started to go in and cut this part free from the sheet here. I'm using this little hobby knife. Now what I've done is I put a brand new blade on there to make sure it's nice and sharp. And again, we've allowed this to cool off before we started working on it, but I've got it sitting on this ceramic tile here again, which is a very hard surface, and it'll allow us to cut there and have be able to apply a lot of pressure on that and not worry about sinking in and bending the part. We want to keep a nice flat surface. So let me start working my way around here. I've got a couple of these cut, and you can see it's loose on the top already. And you just kind of put this on there and just kind of rock it back and forth until you feel it cut through the tab. And just kind of be careful, you know, always with a hobby knife. You don't want to slice yourself. These things are dangerous. And we're making pretty good progress here. There's about 8 tabs altogether that hold this thing on. And once we're done cutting this free, you'll see that there's a little excess material that's going to be left on there where the tabs are located. And we'll use our little Dremel tool to clean that up. And don't be in too much of a hurry to do this, you know, don't force anything. You don't want to bend this. Okay, it looks like it's pretty well free. All right, we've got that loose from the sheet, and you can see there we are. We've got our little rec deck, which is basically a shadow box. This will fold into sections, but what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up with our Dremel tool, these little edges, and then we're going to do our painting on this before we fold it all up. So let's get out the Dremel tool here real quick, and I've got my little sanding drum on this, as you can see, and I'll fire this up. And we're going to go at kind of a low speed, right around number 3 on the dial here. And what you want to make sure of is when you do this is keep the sanding drum parallel to the work, so you don't go at an angle or where it might grab it and fold the part over, because this stuff is pretty thin and pretty easy to destroy. So I'm just lightly touching this on here wherever I see these little tabs sticking up, and it's immediately taking them away. Don't want to go too far and cut into the material at all. If you've got an area like up in this corner, there's one where I can't get to with the drum, we'll just take a little bit of sandpaper and we'll get rid of it with that. And I'll do that kind of off camera here, but you get the idea. I'm going to have to get up in this little spot right here. I don't want to accidentally grind that corner down, but we've already got this cleaned up pretty good. So I'll finish cleaning this up, we'll come back and we're going to start picking out some colors that we're going to paint this, and we'll start doing some of that. So we'll be right back with that. See you in just a minute. Okay everybody, well we're back after a little bit here again, and I've done some work on these, as you can see. And these are the paint colors that I chose for my rec deck and my officer's lounge. I wanted to go with a little bit brighter colors on this so that they would show up really good. It's hard to get some light in there once they're installed inside the saucer, so I decided to stay with some kind of brighter colors. I kind of picked some kind of Federation blue colors here. I did the duck egg blue next to the view screen there, and some kind of a dark blue gray for the, I guess that would be carpet. And I matched these little colors to the carpet here above these little window ports. And then over here on the officer's deck I used some kind of earth colors here around on the floor and things like that. Put in my little shrubberies. And what I'll do before I install this is I'm going to install a little bit of fiber optics right here. I'll use some of that kind of bigger size fiber and I'll mushroom it over a little bit. And I'm going to put in one right on the end of each one of these little rows right there that'll look like kind of little lamps that are lit up there on the ends. And I'll do that right before I install it. So that all came out really good. And I light blocked these both, actually this piece here from behind with some black, as you can see, so the light won't shine through it from the saucer. And turned out pretty good. So what I'll be doing next is I'm working on the decal, getting it ready. We'll be putting that on the bottom of the secondary hull here so you guys can see what that looks like. We'll be right back with that. Well, hi there guys, we're back, and I just wanted to show you I have my two little buddies out in the shop here with me today before we get back to this thing. This is my pal Rusty here, otherwise known as General McCluskey, and this is Chloe. Come here, Chloe. Sit. Chloe, sit. Shake. Shake. Oh, good boy, Rusty. Yeah, these are my little pals. I don't think you guys have seen them before, but they come out here quite often with me and hang out. And I haven't taught them how to bring me any tools yet, but we're working on that. Okay, well, we're back over here on the bench, and we've got our little decal here ready to go. I'm going to drop this in some water now, and we're going to get things rocking here. While that soaks for a second, I'll pause and get the camera set back up on the tripod, and we'll go ahead and show you how this is going to work laying it on the model. Be right back. Alright then, everybody, so let's check this out now. I'm going to put a little bit of water on this to get this thing so the decal will slide around on it real good here. And let's pull our decal out of the water. We've got this lined up real good. And let's slide it on off onto the model here. Got to line this little slot for the where the window is. Oop, we're hanging up on that little corner. I think I better pull it off this way instead. Okay, now we got to come forward here a little bit. Yeah, and this decal here, there's a nice little slot cut in it, so it'll line up right on the edge of your arboretum window there. I'm over the edge there just a little bit. Get this right down on here on this line. Got a little bit of overhang there, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna wet my paper towel down here a little bit and start working some of the wrinkles out. And these decals are always kind of scary looking when you first put them on because they just wrinkle all up and look bad. And this model has a little bit of, I'm going to take my hobby knife and trim a little bit of this off here right on this edge that's overhanging onto the deflector area here. Get rid of that. I'm starting to smooth out pretty good here. Got one pretty good one right here in the middle that I'm not liking too much. Gotta get him gone. It's just where there's a little bit of a grid line there on the shape of the hull. Okay. Looking pretty good in the middle. Just work out to the edges here. Okay. Pretty happy with that. Now, if you can see in the shot here, what we've got is we've got this real nice pearlescent. I'm not sure if it's showing. It'll show up better for you with the camera, with the overhead light on or off here. I just got some little wrinkles going on around these edges where the little grid lines are on the model. But what I'll do is I'll go in here now and I'll spray this down with some of my decal bonder, which I'll do that here real quick. Hang on a second. I'm just going to take and switch to a dry paper towel here now and make sure we get all of our moisture out of this, and I want to make sure I try to eliminate any air bubbles if I can. You get, with these decals, you always get a little bit of, sometimes you'll see little tiny spots in there where you'll get a little bit of debris that's trapped underneath of it, or a little bit of texture that was on your paint. But what I like to do is I'll put several coats of clear on this, and then I'll come back and hit that with some several coats of clear coat, and then I can wet sand that a little bit, and that'll take a lot of that away. Let's see here. But you can see we've got it all on there now, and you can see how our beautiful pearl work came right through on those decals. Now this particular panel here only had this one color of gold, so we don't see any of the blue or the other colors on there. But hopefully this is showing up for you. I can tilt this in just the right amount of light here. But anyway, that's how that works, and it's working out very, very well. I'll be able to go and do most of the areas of the ship. There's some panels here and there, when I looked over the decals some more, that they're not very clear, so I'll just hand paint those on. And that's going to work out good. What I'll do is I'll test fit the decal first. I don't want to do any taping or masking after the decals are on, obviously, because you can wind up pulling them off. So I'll figure out where the decals, where the spots are that the decals aren't going to work, and then I'll basically hand paint that on and then put the decals on over top of it. And So that's looking pretty darn good. Now all those little spots will probably go away once this is all settled down. And you can see we don't have any wrinkles in it or anything. It's looking really nice and flat. And once that decal bonder is dry, it's going to settle down really nice and smooth on there. So let me see if I can tighten up on this just a little bit here for you. And get you, I'm hoping that this light reflection is showing these colors here for you. But they're supposed to kind of disappear like that, and then when they kind of come back, when the light hits them the right way. Now, one of the things I wanted to say too is that these putting this on there darkens up your panels here a little bit, but I'm thinking that's kind of okay. It looks like little panels on the ship, and that's going to be cool. It did have that effect. Maybe they weren't quite that dark, but I'm okay with it. And that's it for today, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. We got a lot done today. We'll take one more look here at the other items that we got finished up. You can see there's our, oops, sorry to bump the camera. That's our rec deck, and basically what you do with this is just fold this up on the seams. I don't want to do that just yet because what I'm going to be doing is I'll use some CA, and I'm going to use a little bit of styrene around the edges here to reinforce it. I'll probably show a little bit of that in the next video when I get to it. And we have our little officer's lounge. And as I mentioned, what I'm going to do here is right at the edges of these little areas where you see the vegetation or whatever, I'm going to put a couple of little fiber optics in there that look like little lamps, and that'll kind of give it some ambient lighting inside when you see it inside the window. Again, a lot of this is cut off. In fact, this one back here, this little port here in the back that has a picture of the nacelle, you won't even be able to see that. So anyway, it's pretty neat, and it turned out pretty decent. That's pretty hard to paint those small things, so I'm pretty happy with how that came out. So that's going to be a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back in another couple of days with another update. And then real quick here on the Sci-Fi Model Action channel, I'll be going in and doing some work and hitting the Cylons again. The Cylon Centurion. I got a little reminder of that the other day. A little warning, so I better get to work on those. Anyway, guys, take care out there. We'll see you next time, and happy modeling, everyone.